Today on the Nice Guys podcast, fencing, fighting, torture, revenge, giants, monsters, chases, escapes, true love, miracles. Oh, no, that's The Princess Bride. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community, welcome back. Once again, I am Strickland Bonner on the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler. And again, I'm speaking quickly because we tried to do a quick intro for Gavin Zuklinski the other day, but it didn't go very long. I mean, it actually ended up going too long because we ended up talking too long. But I figure if I keep talking really quickly, then maybe we can get through this one quickly.
You know, you just messed up Sean Carpenter because he listens at 1.5 speed. So,
I know,
Sean,
I love that. That's exactly why I did it.
Way to go. Hey, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Nice Guy community, welcome back. All of those great things. What day is it that you're supposed to call in? Yes, Wednesdays. Between 5 and 6:30 p.m.
So did you get any calls last Wednesday, Doug?
I won't know until last week.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah.
That's how it works. I have no idea because we are recording this show on whatever day this today is. But Wednesdays between 5 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you dial 410-340-6861, country code 01 for United States, I will pick up the phone and I will talk to you. Feel free to talk about any topics, business, personal, dogs, cats, screaming, whatever you want to talk about. I will be happy to talk about your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your lover, your ex-lover, your marital partner, or anything that you would like to talk about, business or personal. It is Dialing for Doug Day, Wednesdays between 5 and 6:30 p.m. 410-340-6861 again is my number. Okay. Strickland.
Yes.
Rene Brent is on the show today. You know who Rene is?
Hypnotherapist, right?
She is a hypnotherapist, and she is going to talk about all things good. She's going to talk about how to get out of those scripts that you want to try to break in your head. She's going to talk to you about how to stop beating yourself up mentally day in and day out. She's really, really good with getting inside that 6 inches between your, ears.
Yeah, that's an old joke. You've used that before.
I know. But she's going to help you get in between those ears and understand what are the scripts that are going on in your head. So Rene Brent, definitely a great interview. She even sent us some shirts and some cool stuff. She sent us a book, How Big Is Your Butt? Not
Wait a minute, shirts? I didn't see free stuff.
I know. I haven't given you the free stuff yet. I was waiting for the episode to air before I really, gave it to you because I felt like it wouldn't have a lot of value to you unless you heard the interview first. So I wanted you to hear the interview, and then I will shower you with all of the free stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
so Rene Brent, hypnotherapist. Check out her interview right here on the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Any final words before we take it away?
The promise statement?
Go ahead. It's all you, man.
Once again, he does not have it ready. The promise statement of the Nice Guys on Business to provide a learning experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life.
We are hoping we do that. If we aren't hitting the mark, or if we are hitting the mark, we'd love to know. At DJ Doug is my Twitter handle. You can send Strick a tweet. I guess he would probably get it some point in 2017. So it's at Nice Guy on Biz with a Z if you end up sending him something. But at DJ Doug, I check mine at least 40 times a day, so feel free. Okay, let's get to the interview. Rene Brent, how big is your butt? Let's do it. For the first time in Nice Guy history, we have a hypnotherapist. I knew there was a reason why I was getting kind of sleepy and feeling a little bit better. I am not sure that she will make me cluck like a chicken. That's not the kind of hypnosis that she does. She's a hypnotherapist. She's not going to make me dance naked in the street. Of course, that could kind of be kind of comical. Today's guest, Rene Brent, will help you with your happy. And she has sent me a whole bunch of happy swag, and I love that. I even got a little T-shirt and I think a coffee mug and some other stuff. But what was really cool is her book, How Big Is Your Butt? Which is really great. So let me start there. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast, Rene.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Did I screw up on too many of those things, or did I?
No, those are all perfect. Yep,
okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's where I want to start, because you made a very good thing by saying, hey, just want to make sure that you're aware of the differences between a hypnotherapist and a hypnosis person. So can we do that? Because it's not trickery. I mean, this is like, you're a hypnotherapist.
I am a hypnotherapist, and what that means is a hypnotherapist helps you with your mind and body. A hypnotist, usually it's a matter of training. A hypnotist has about 50 to 100 hours of training, and they can call themselves a hypnotist. A hypnotherapist, someone who's a clinical hypnotherapist, has over 500 hours of training, and that's my training. And I don't tell people how to think. I just give them opportunity to go past the block, the wall, and drop into their heart, their subconscious mind, and then they do their own therapy. That's why it's so, so powerful. Because when the shift comes from within, Doug, it just changes everything.
I mean, and that's so amazing that you say that, because, I mean, that's a good starting point for us. How can we make ourselves happy? Because really everything that we have, and I've read this, I've seen this, and I just want to believe it, everything that we need is really already in us. But how do we get it out?
Sure. This is a good question. And I have this people, my clients ask me all the time, I'm stuck. I don't know why. And I don't know how to make the changes. And the first thing is we try to make the changes. Most of us are not taught how to deal with the subconscious mind. So we deal with the 5% of the conscious mind, and it's impossible to make changes in that. The conscious mind, because that analyzes, it judges, it criticizes, so it blocks us, and it's trying to keep us safe. It has a great job, but the 95%, the boss, so to speak, is the subconscious mind. So getting into that is by really awareness. Start listening to yourself, but using a tool to be able to drop your into a different brainwave. Hypnosis, meditation, Doug, is only a change in a brainwave. I've been a nurse for over 25 years, so I really combine my clinical science background with hypnotherapy. And I teach my clients why they're dropping into an altered state, while they're dropping into a change in a brainwave, because when you drop into the heart, that 95%, that's where the truth lies. And when you are aware of your truth, then you can start changing it. But until then, you can't.
Oh, so what is which part of it? Is it the 5 or the 95%? Is the part of it that says you're an idiot, you just can't deal with this, or you've always been a failure, or sure, your parents did this because you deserved it? I mean, what part is that our 5 or is that our 95?
Well, that's the 95%. That's a sub-personality. That's the inner critic. And the inner critic is really powerful. And I talk to the inner critic of my clients every day because it stops us. And it's a negative voice that follows us around. That's 95%. The 5%, the conscious mind, is the part that says it comes up, this fear, this worry, this doubt. And we said, no, you don't have to worry about that. That happened so long ago. Nope, you don't have to worry about that. And pushing it down and pushing it down. And when you push it down and push it down for so long, it's going to show up somewhere in your life or your body. And that's when people come and make an appointment with me.
So is that the time where last year I'm sitting on the subway, and again, I'm 52 years old. So as a 51-year-old, I'm sitting on a subway or heading into the subway station, and all of a sudden I get later I found out this was the first anxiety attack that I think that I had ever really had. I mean, I'd had other areas of anxiety in my life, but didn't seem to be anything anywhere near. I mean, this was like a totally earth-crushing feeling, total empty void. Just didn't care even if I fell onto the third rail of the subway. I just needed this pain just to stop. And it just was sudden. I had no idea what was even gripping me. Is that what's going on with a lot of people that are experiencing their first level of attack or anxiety?
It is. When you feel like my people with anxiety, I deal with a lot of people with anxiety, and they feel like their mind and their body's been hijacked and that they're going to die. Yeah. And automatically. Not rational.
It's not a rational thought either.
No, you've been hijacked. But this is what I want to tell you. Your subconscious mind is trying to speak to you all day long, and its job is to move you, to heal you, but also to move you away from pain and to pleasure. So it's trying to listen, and if you're not listening, Doug, it's a whisper, and then it's a little bit louder, and then it's screaming at you. So if you've spent 51 years, or let's say 10 years of calm, and you've had, of worry, of negative self-talk, you probably have a very strong inner critic, from what I heard you say. Mm-hmm. It was listening to you, and that adds up. And it's talking to you and talking to you, and you're not listening, it's going to scream. And unfortunately, sometimes it does it in the subway. Sometimes it does it when you're driving in your car. So we must learn. We're not taught This is the power of the work. This is why I do what I do. This is why I wrote the book, How Big Is Your Butt? Because we're not taught how to manage the subconscious mind. So anxiety, that was a gift to you. And I said this off air because when it's loud enough, now you're listening. And now it took you, okay. And all the subconscious mind wants your attention. And when you start listening and you start learning some skills to interrupt this behavior, where you feel safer and you trust yourself, then the behavior, it starts slowing down, and now it becomes lower and lower. And eventually you retrain your brain for new behavior.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about some. We talked about this again pre-interview about giving some action items and how to kind of cope or deal or just kind of redirect your brain. Why is it though? The initial attack or anxiety attack or panic or whatever you want to call it that happened in that subway for me, which is an anxiety attack for other people that are out there in the world and wherever it is that occurs. It's no longer the anxiety that has you afraid. It's the fear of the fear. Then you start to think, gosh, I hope that never happens again. If I can't ever go into the subway again, that might happen again. And obviously you got to put yourself into that situation. But why is it that fear of the fear? What happens there?
So anxiety is just a symptom. And I encourage you and I encourage all of the listeners to release the word anxiety, because it's a big bucket and there's a lot of things attached to it that don't necessarily pertain to you.
Okay.
So anxiety, I would call it what it is. And anxiety is usually a symptom of fear itself. Fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of being stupid, whatever your false belief is. So there's that fear. Now you've experienced a panic attack. Now we're fear of emotion. We're fear of having this in public. And we go into fight or flight.
Yep.
We have a beautiful body and a gift and a system. We're geared to survive as human beings. That's who we are. So everything, your chemical composition of your body, your brain, and your mind connection is all towards survival. So basically, now the only thing that you have to do, your body and mind didn't know that if you were having a panic attack in a subway or you were running from a lion. Had no difference. None. So focus and calm and rational thought is non-essential to survival. So now you're in this whole loop. So we become very afraid when you start listening to it and learn some techniques to pattern interrupt. I want to suggest to you that you are having some little suggestions. Your subconscious was talking to you far before you were on that subway that day with a panic attack.
For sure.
And our body is our GPS for our emotional mind. And there's something called the felt sense. I have a whole chapter in the book about it. Because when we have fear or we have an emotion, it shows up in our body. In our chest, we feel heaviness in our chest. Where do you feel it when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed?
You just hit it. It's I feel like I can't catch my breath, and I feel like I'm going to drown in my own body. I hate to say it, but that's what it feels like. It feels like I just can't catch up with myself.
Yeah. So that's the chest. So that's called felt sense, where you feel the sensation of emotion, energy, and motion. And you were probably getting that for a very, very long time in your life. If you just learn to acknowledge that sensation in your body, it's a backdoor way to acknowledge an emotion. There's 3 things you can do with emotion. You can shove it down. And I ask people, very Dr. Philish, how's that working out for you? And right. And usually not very well. The other one is you can scream or cry or end up having a panic attack. And the third one is to allow. When you just acknowledge that feeling in your chest or your stomach and like, ooh, that feels like fear, that feels like overwhelm. When you just acknowledge that, it releases. We have this beautiful ability to release emotion, but we can't ignore it. We must learn to allow it. So for the listeners, if you're having that feeling in your gut or your stomach or even your head, just say, okay, I'm feeling this right now, and just accept it and acknowledge it, and it will get better.
I'm nodding my head in so much agreement with you, and I had the good fortune to meet a cognitive behavioral therapist who had helped me with this episode in my life, and part of it was understanding. It's almost like be curious as to what it is. You're going to be safe. You're not going to die from an anxiety or panic attack or whatever you call it. Just sit there, accept it in your life. And as soon as I started to accept the fact that this was happening to me at that particular moment, not just an overall theory about this is how we had to act, but literally in the moment, just accept it and say, okay, let's dig into this idea a little bit. Let's feel that's an interesting feeling. Let's start to see what that feels like a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, I can feel like the level of happiness that's happening when you're talking to me about it, because it's so simple, but it's not. You have to, it's like leaning into a punch. You just don't want to.
And it's not even that. And I teach people how to go above it, to allow motion without being caught up in it. There's an opening the heart technique that I do, because we don't always have to feel it, but we must acknowledge it. Mm-hmm. We cannot ignore. I had a 16-year-old who was a beautiful pianist and really incredible. But all of a sudden in her life, she started having panic attacks and didn't want to play to audiences. And her mom brought her into me, and we did some work. We learned to acknowledge. We did some pattern interrupts, because when you are in anxiety and now you're in this fear mode, you're training the neurons in your brain to wire a certain way and fire a certain way. So I do a lot of mind-body work and pattern interrupt. Did some work with her, taught her to trust herself again, that she's going to be able to have some tools to be able to divert it if it does show up. And that trust left her, and saw her perform, and she is beautiful on stage. And she told me once she went and she had a little bit of a feeling of some working up a attack,
right,
and she did the techniques and it calmed her down, and she was be able to just immerse herself in the music again. And then they became less and less, and now she just performs all over the country and doesn't have any issues. And that's okay.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. And what's so great about what you're saying is that it's amazing when you're able to find the power, even once, to find a little space, and then you get that relief. You gain a power over this thing that you think is gripping you. You actually have it within you already, and the more that you deal with it properly and know what your I guess it's a trigger, or know what that feeling is that's coming up, or then you start to really master it. And it becomes a strength for you, as opposed to it becoming a weakness that you feel like is defining your life.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always going to have fear, because that's who we are as human beings. We want that alarm system. We want that emotional GPS in our body to give us a warning signal if we're in danger, and pay attention to it. But when it gets so big, we have to learn. And doing what you want to do, or doing what you need to do, in spite of the fear, is called courage. When you move through courage, then there's belief. And that's what that 16-year-old, she believed in herself again. And it takes very little. There is, in my practice, in my world, not one person is broken. If you feel like you're broken, it's not the truth. It's a lie. So stop telling yourself that. You just haven't found a way to go around that bridge yet, to go over that bump. And when you do, you believe. The difference between information and transformation is belief. And the only way it can come from is from with you. I can't give it to anybody. They have to find it from within. So find a way to do that for yourself.
So what's again so amazing about what you're saying is that it doesn't matter if you're 16 or you're 52 or you're 75 or you're 105. Anybody that has a situation in their life, you're not broken. I always, I love my mom dearly, and she hopefully is a listener to the show, although I still think she's trying to figure out what the word podcast is. But that's fine. At some point she'll figure it out. She has said to me a number of times, we just lost my dad last year, unfortunately, and she feels hopeless and lost sometimes, and she feels very vulnerable sometimes. And I'm not speaking out of school. I think that would be anybody, and she has the right to feel that way, because anybody that had lost a partner of 47 years would feel that way. Yes. However, I guess my challenge with her and with anybody that's in this situation is when they feel like it's too late. You just can't, I'm not savable. Now, help me work through that for a moment, just because I know there are people that are out there listening to this, like my mom and like others that are out there, that just may feel like, I just don't know how I'm going to move past this. I don't think I can be fixed. Can you fix somebody like that?
Well, I can't fix them, but I can give them tools to be able to go within and do that and fix themselves, because that's the truth. So someone like your mom who feels like it's hopeless, there's a part of them, a subpersonality of the egos.
Let me just correct myself for a second. Maybe that was too strong words. I don't feel like she's hopeless, and she doesn't feel like she's hopeless.
Okay.
She's just trying to work through, how do you get beyond the feeling of, I just need some additional help? How do you get through that?
Yeah. Well, grief is interesting. I do a lot of grief work, and what I do with grief work is they remember people who are in grief, and no one can tell someone how long their grief's going to last. There's no time limit. So she's going to work through that on her own.
Yeah.
But when you remember someone, not at the death scene, not at the situation before or after or the funeral, when you move back to the time of joy, that is when we release and we know that they never leave us, that we always have that love. So that's my quick thing on grief, is you have to remember them in a new way. But I have to tell you, 60% of my clients are businessmen from the age of 45 to 65. Mm-hmm. Who are tired of the patterns. They don't know why they're stuck. And some of them have lost millions and millions of dollars in their business. And now when you have anything external and your sense of self and confidence and value is external, if it leaves, you're left with nothing.
Right.
So now you have no choice but to go within. And when you find that strength from within, so it's just paying attention, awareness. A lot of the book that I wrote is about just learning to go within and listen. All the answers are there. We're just not taught how to go in and listen. So people need to just drop in, learn some techniques, some tools to be able to start listening to the subconscious mind. And then you'll have the answers from within. No one can teach you. Can
you give us some tools that we could even implement even before we're finished with our day today?
Absolutely, I will. And this is what I want to first say to someone. I want to tell, I get this out in every podcast, every speech that I do, every talk. Positive thinking doesn't work when you're in a survival state. Mm-hmm. When you're in a beta wave, which is what you are moving through your day, and high beta when you're in stress, you cannot outthink that. You must learn tools to drop into an altered brainwave, which is an alpha wave. That is hypnosis or meditation. That's where the change lies. When you're trying to say positive thinking in a survival state, it's like throwing balloons against a brick wall. It doesn't work.
You're so right. I learned as a result of this panic and anxiety in my life, I learned meditation, and twice a day for the last year, I've been 10 minutes twice a day. And you're right. Those are the times when you can have a lot of impact in those few minutes, and it's great. So help me through that. Help us all through that.
So when you drop into, and it's not hard to drop that wall just a little bit. We do it every day. Hypnosis is only a change in a brainwave. Meditation. When you drop, then you could start visualizing how you want your day to be. Every morning, I set this snooze alarm 10 minutes early, so I can, because you're in a natural state of hypnosis when you're coming out of sleep. Mm-hmm. Every day when you go to sleep, you go into a meditative state to delta sleep, which is a brainwave, and up again in the morning. So I take that 10 minutes to visualize how I want my day to go. Calm, relaxed, organized, whatever it is for the day. And I want to encourage people to take the time, either go to I know you do Headspace. I heard that on one of your podcasts. They can go to my website, practicehappynow.com, and download a few meditations, one's for sleep and one's to meet higher self, and just learn to drop into an altered brainwave. Mm-hmm. And that's when you hear your truth. You could say, what's going on with me? Or have a conversation with that negative self-talk and say, why are you bothering me every day? Why are you here? And then you can start renegotiating behavior. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I start negotiating very quickly in the morning with myself. I'm like, no, you're not going there yet. It's so true. It's so funny you're saying that. I've never heard anybody say that, but you're right. I start negotiating the minute I wake up. I do.
But before you open your eyes, that's the time to do it, because you're still in an altered brainwave.
Yeah.
And that's when your subconscious mind is listening. That's when you can make changes. When you Dr. Joe Dispenza has a great book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. If you get out of bed and do the same thing every day, you're just reinserting anxiety or fear or guilt or judgment, whatever it is, into the same day. It's the same day as the last day and the last day before that. So take the time in the morning to just see how you want to do it. Argue with that negative voice in your mind. Say, no, that's not my truth. I do something called the truth talk. When you just close your eyes and you learn to relax, take some deep breaths, and you just close your eyes, then ask that part, no, it's not the truth, and argue for it. And then you say, absolutely, it's true. It's not true. There are no absolutes. It's only a perception that you have within. You can, if it's your perception, then you can change it.
I love what you're saying. Your book is called How Big Is Your Butt? Discover how to finally let go of the blocks and move forward in your life. Big dreams, little butts.
BUT, by the way.
Yeah, BUT. That's right. So it's not a diet book. It is a book that's it's a way to change your life for the better. And I have not had a chance to go through the entire book, although many of the chapters that I did go through, really interesting how you have a great spin, and your voice that you use in your book is great. It makes it feel very much like this is a part of a plan that I can actually have some control over and change in my life.
Oh, absolutely. If you hear me talk on this podcast, you'll hear my voice in the book. I write to conversation, and I wrote the book because there were so many. I'm in this field of self-help, and they're so frustrating because it's all words, it's no practicality, and I would say just say what you mean, and I'm frustrated. So I wanted to write a book that actually had some very practical. Each exercise at the end of each chapter gives people the ability to move forward. Each thing builds on the other, and it's a lot of fun. I like a play on words. One is called "Let's Talk About the F Word," and that's forgiveness.
We do that a lot. We do that a lot on our show.
Yes, I like that word too.
Forgiveness.
Yeah. So if we have time, I can teach someone how to do a pattern interrupt. I'm not sure if we have time for that, Doug.
Sure. We can do it. Let's do it.
Okay. So when we're being hijacked and we're in the state of anxiety, you want to rewire. You want to pattern interrupt that to a different part of your brain. So there's two things you can do very quickly. Is one, you can just simply toss a ball back and forth in your hand when you're feeling it coming on. And when you toss a ball back and forth, you then are moving from your right brain to your left brain, your right brain to your left brain. And when you do that, it cannot go and loop in the same spot that's been trained that way. A lot of my men really like this because they can do it in a meeting. They can do it when they're on a business call, and just go back and forth. And that's a great one.
Interesting. I never, I know the tapping. I've heard of the, when I first started investigating, I was watching some of these videos, and they were people that were tap, and I couldn't figure out, but I guess that's very similar in that left brain, right brain kind of thing.
Well, when you tap, I'm a tapping practitioner. For me, hypnosis is like cleaning out the garage, and tapping is so you don't put a new bag in there every day.
Okay, I get it. That's good.
You get it?
Yeah.
So, but tapping doesn't appeal to everybody, but it is a very powerful tool. But I'm all about the science of the mind and the body. If you know why you're taking a deep breath, if you know why you're moving a ball from side to side, it makes sense, and then people will do it. And I love it when people younger learn these tools, because then you're not doing the same pattern. Then you're not creating negative patterns in your life. Then you're not married 2 or 3 times and don't know why it happened, or you're not bringing the right person into your life, or you're failing at business. Learn these things now, younger, and then you can really create a life that you want to live.
Oh, that's great. Now, you said did you have one other?
Yes, this is called peripheral focus. So, and I don't want your audience to do this while they're driving, right?
Right.
But it's easy to do, even when you're staring at someone and you're feeling yourself getting anxious, a boss, a coworker, a customer. So you stare at them, you take a big breath in, and you exhale. It could be a little lighter if there's someone in front of you. But when you take a big breath in, Doug, and you hold it, you're actually compressing on a vagal nerve right at your diaphragm, and that allows the parasympathetic nervous system, it allows the part that's focus and calm and rational thought to come forward, to come to the head of the line. So that's why we breathe. So we can activate that vagal nerve and just get some oxygen. We hold our breath when we're trying to suppress emotion.
Wow,
so Yeah. So I have a whole chapter on breathing on this in my book. And I wish I could talk about this for hours, obviously.
No, and we definitely want to get you back on the show because there are certain things, and maybe we'll even see if we can put together like a webinar or something fun like that. I know our community is very in tune to stress and wellness and anxiety, and I think that a lot of people deal with this, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't know how to properly deal with it. And I'm probably one of those too. I mean, I found a couple of things that really work for me, and I've been using those for the last year. But
try the ball toss. And the other one is, so they find a spot to focus on, someone's nose or a wall or at a stoplight, wherever it is, and you take those breaths. And as you're staring at that spot, Doug, then you just try it now while I'm speaking to you.
Yeah, good.
So now add your peripheral focus all the way out to the outer reaches of your vision.
Okay.
And when you do that, just spread it out there. Now you're using both sides of your brain. You take a big breath in and exhale it. Now imagine as if you could see behind your head. And when you just do that, feel what's happening to your body. What's going on for you when you're doing that?
I definitely feel like a little bit more relaxed. I don't know why that happened though.
Because you're spreading, it's just, you're focusing on that. You're using both parts of your brain, and you're just giving yourself, it's like pushing the pause button for a minute for you to reframe your thoughts. And that's what we want to do. That's a pattern interrupt. And that's what I teach. It is an epidemic, anxiety, stress. I do workshops and now I'm doing one for teens because there's so much pressure on our kids. There's this and that. They're having anxiety. So I'm really out there in the world trying to help people understand that they can take back their power. They can retrain their brain. They don't have to live this way in fear.
Rene, excellent. Oh my gosh, you're like a breath of deep air that I've now just
Awesome, Doug.
That's very cool. Well, I'll make sure that we put all of the information in the show notes because I know the Nice Guy community wants to get in touch with you. I also noticed that you do Skype sessions too. It's not just face to face. You can do some stuff via Skype too, right?
I do. Yeah, I do a lot of work on Skype. I have clients all over the world that I love to. The only part about that is when you have clients all over the world, it means you're working all the time.
Yeah, that's true. That's such a horrible thing.
No, I'm very blessed with my practice, but I love doing Skype. I love reaching people because you don't have to sit in this. You really can. 1 or 2 sessions with reframing, this work happens very quickly because when you bypass the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, 3 to 5 sessions, my clients are really feeling like they have some tools to be able to move forward in a new way.
That is great, and we will make sure that we put all your contact information right in the show notes so people can get in touch with you. I want to just have you remove your hypnotherapist brain for a hat for a second and put on your business owner hat for a moment, because part of the lessons that we try to impart to our community is to teach people how to build their business and grow their business too. So can you answer a few questions just based upon you being a business owner for a moment?
Absolutely.
Okay,
love
great.
it.
So there's going to be 5 questions that's just rapid fire. I'm going to try my best. I know I'm really horrible. I interrupt all the time. So I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to try not to,
after my own heart.
Try not to interrupt you as we go through this. 20 seconds is the cap on each answer. So if you find you're talking too long, then just try to wrap up your answer. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay.
So 5 questions. Here we go. Be relatable. What do you suck at?
What I suck at is returning phone calls because it takes a long time for me. So, and I know that's a part of my practice, but I want to be authentically there for my clients. So I have to really make a time for me, structure a time in the day to return phone calls and force myself to do it.
All right, excellent. All right, as a business owner, you're answering these. So and that was a good one. Be transparent. How did you pay your bills when you first got going?
And I was divorced and I have alimony, and my alimony checks help me pay for it.
Wow, there you go. That's as transparent as you can possibly
I'm
be.
honest. I'm real. Yeah.
And you know, it could have been that my ex-wife who receives an alimony check from me, maybe that's how she's actually, I'm sure that's how she's going to be getting along. Oh, whatever. That's a whole different topic.
We can talk about that. And I do relationship stuff too. So that's be another podcast.
I got all sweaty when I started talking about that. My palms got all crazy.
Breathe.
Okay, breathe. That's right. Yes. Okay. Be confident. Again, as a business owner, what do you do as an entrepreneur that is as good as it gets?
I can build rapport faster than anybody. So networking is very good for me. I have to have people trust me to be able to put them in the state of hypnosis. So I'm authentic, I'm real, and I'm relatable.
Excellent. All right. As a business owner, be humble. What experts did you need to call upon to make shit happen in the beginning?
I had to hire people to do the organizational stuff. I was a nurse for over 25 years, so I've never owned my own business. So I decided I was going to ask business people to help me, mainstream business people, to help me learn how to get insurance, how to do the networking, how to do all of that. So I went to business people.
Good answers. Okay, and be realistic. Where are you going to be in the next, let's say, 90 days, and how far into the future can you actually see?
Well, I can see far. I see a second book from myself in next year called Oh No, I Worry About Worrying, which you might want to look for, Doug.
Yeah, I was always a worrier. I really was.
Yeah, it's a problem, not the solution. I see myself doing a lot of public speaking. Really, a lot of my motivation is helping my clients find their power within and getting this message out to the masses. I want to just help people move forward.
Great answers on all 5 of the rapid fire questions. All right, do you have just another moment for a personal question or two?
I do, absolutely.
Okay, great. You have your cell phone anywhere near you?
No, but I know what my cell phone looks like.
Okay, do you have an iPhone or something inferior?
I have iPhone. I have an iBrain. I tell people you have to have the iBrain. You have to have the iPad, the Mac, and the thing. They all relate to each other. It takes me out of it.
So interestingly enough, so the next question was going to be, but if you don't have your phone and you can't answer it, so I was going to ask you. I can. Oh, you can answer it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. What was the last photo you took?
I was in Las Vegas with my sister, and I took a picture of me and a stage hypnotist. I went because I was curious, and that was the last picture I took on my phone.
Okay, wow. How would you even know that if you don't have your phone? That's pretty good. And do you remember the last text message you sent or received?
Yeah, I send it to the love of my life, who I'm grateful for every day. And I just told him that I loved him. I did it right before here to let it, because he set me up on my mic. He makes sure that everything's okay for me and loves me along the way. There's nothing better than that.
That is a good guy. Rene, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Your contribution are amazing. I had 2 other interviews today. I won't say right now who those 2 interviews were, because I don't want them to feel at all like there was any ill or contempt at all, but I was so ready for your interview. I wanted to get beyond the other 2 to get to this one.
Thank you. And I want to leave your listeners with one thing in business, in life, is to hold on to the why. Hold on to why you're doing your business. Hold on to why you stay up late every night to be an entrepreneur or solopreneur. And when you know the why, and when you hold on to the essence of that, then the how, the little things, the frustrations will be much, much smaller, and you can move forward.
So very true. Well said. Rene, thank you for being a part of the show today. We will make sure that all of your valuable information is put there in the show notes. Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to our guest, Rene. Brent, thanks, Rene.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Fill up your week with the Nice Guys. Have fun storming the castle, boys.